morning. My name is Corrado Giaquinto. I'm the CEO of RogerKiss International. Today is my first time at the Opportunity Day, but not the last one. So today I would like to first of all introduce myself. Next slide. Please forgive me, we have a small technical hiccup. While we solve the hiccup, let me start to tell you verbally. The first section was about introducing myself. So I have over 30 years of business experience. I've been working for 26 years with the Colgate-Palmolive in 10 markets, and I've been for 12 years a CEO of 4 business units, including the business unit led by Thailand and Malaysia. So altogether, 11 years in Asia. And about my past experience, there are some experiences that are relevant for RogerKiss because I managed to really, when I was in Colgate, to accelerate the sales in Vietnam, Laos, and Indonesia, which are countries similar size as RogerKiss. So I'm not just a big company guy. I can also do very well in the smaller businesses. I have launched also over 100 new products in Thailand. New products are critical for RogerKiss, so that helps me set it up. And my specialties are really strategy, innovation, marketing, sales, and international business. And if I speak about my management philosophy, I believe first in strategy. I believe in building a strong team, do what is right, not what is easy, to listen, focus, and I am a fast decision maker. I am also very focus on execution. So for me, strategy without execution is just dreaming. Instead, I need to be focused. I will pick a few battles, and I can guarantee you that those battles I will bring home. I'm very keen on communication. So that's why we will commit to have a quarterly, the Opportunity Day. And again, I apologize for today. There is a technical issue that the team is trying to fix. But every quarter we will be there, myself or the CFO, to share with you. And of course, we are also committed to strong governance. Some of you have already asked me in the past why I'm excited about joining RogerKiss. Coming from a large company like Colgate, why did I choose to come to RogerKiss? I believe that the RogerKiss has a huge opportunity in front. We have a strong chance to transform RogerKiss into a power mega brand and becoming the market leader in the face care business. I believe we have all the cards to establish a strong footprint in Southeast Asia, not just Thailand. And with a stronger brand, we will have the credibility and the capability to enter into new categories. And a bit of a history. RogerKiss was started in 2007, and the first phase, we call it RogerKiss 1.0, was about expanding the distribution, listing in some of the key customers. In 2016, the RogerKiss brand was purchased from Korea, which is the origin of the brand. And then we started the RogerKiss 2.0. In the RogerKiss 2.0, we hired a new management team and professional, so this team managed to bring up the profile of RogerKiss and to, expand the distribution, start listing internationally, and so on, taking the sales also to double level. Now we have reached in 2024, with the sales have almost tripled from the beginning, a point where the management decided it was time to move to RogerKiss 3.0. hiring me as the new CEO and developing a strategy that I will present today with you, the key points to bring Rojukis to new levels. The new levels we will see shortly. So now I would like to present the financial performance. Perfect. Now the screen is fixed. Good timing. So if you look at on the top left, the sales in 2022, 23, and 24, you can see that both invoice and net revenue is very similar trend. The growth in 2023 was for net revenue 3.5% to 964 million. And this year, I mean, in 2024, we managed to accelerate almost 7 times this growth, bringing the net revenue to 1.169 million. And net profit, which grew in 23, 13%, we accelerated, this is net profit attributable to shareholders, by the way, we accelerated to a growth of 21%, which is a growth of 3.5 times, to almost 160 million. For the net revenue, clearly this has been driven by the skincare business, which is our growth driver. Skincare itself grew 42% in 2024, thanks to the premium clinical grade line, and also our launch of the affordable active dose serum range, which was also supported by a program of expanded distribution and acceleration in e-commerce and continuous marketing investment. If you look at our business composition on the bottom left, 96% of Rojukis sales are Thailand-based, 2% overseas, and 2% is from the HiBioC, our medical division. Okay, by product line, skincare is the lion's share, with the 89% of the business and 42% of growth. And if I look by the bottom right, by channel, modern trade accounts for 77% of Rojukis sales and e-commerce 12%. If I look by quarter, we can appreciate that is in 2024, we managed to grow over past years from Q2, and then this growth has been consistent. If you look on the top right in the column chart year on year, you can see that we have recovered the pre-COVID level. So we have surpassed 2019 level finally this year. And for the year to come, we expect to continue this growth trend. Now, let me give you some comments on some of the P&L lines, starting from gross profit margin. Gross profit margin slightly dropped 60 basis points to 51.4 in 2024. This is due to conservative accounting estimate to align with the future selling trend. We have created a stock provision on COVID as the business is now declining, which is natural as COVID is behind us. And therefore, we have adjusted our provision accordingly. If we exclude this item, our gross profit margin would be 53.7, so a significant increase. Selling expense to net revenue increase. This is a good increase because it's driven by really spending in higher investment in marketing and promotional activity to raise brand awareness. So here, this is good, but I can reassure you that we have a very effective control on our expenses. So there is no surprise here. In terms of administrative expenses, they grew from 11.8 to 13.4. And this is from a one-time write-off of a COVID packaging deposit. So this is in line with what I said before about the adjusting to the future trend of COVID, but also a conservative approach to expected credit loss. If we exclude these two items, our administrative expenses would be actually lower to 11% to sales. So with this, the net profit growth was 5% to 161 million. But net profit after NCI is a 22% growth to 160 million. If we look at our financial position, our asset slightly decreased, 86 million baht to 0.316 billion. Cash and equivalent decreased by 184 million from 100% share acquirement in Ibio City in first quarter and for a repayment of our short-term loan. Inventory decreased 18 million. Contract assets, which increased by 132 million. Contract assets are linked with our sales in semi-credit customer, Watson, Even Boy, 24 Shopping, which are fast growing. That's why that increased. In terms of liability has a slight decrease of 13 million baht to 297 million, as we paid all the TRs in second quarter, since we have sufficient liquidity. Account payable increased by 77 million from extended payment cycle applied to all vendors. Shareholder equity decreased 74 million to 1,019 million from a dividend payment. So now I would like to emphasize, since you are all investors, what are some of the highlights of our brand. There are really 5 points I want to stress. We are consistently growing market share in a very competitive facial moisturizer year on year. This is one of the most important KPI you should keep an eye on. If you're able to grow faster than the competition, it means that our sales growth will be very sustainable. We also, as I mentioned earlier, we managed to turn around the post-COVID, so reflecting on consistent organic growth, thanks to successful new product launches and our marketing strategy. We are building a strong distribution network in Thailand, and we expect to build it even stronger this year. But also, I will share with you our plan to expand in the Asian countries, our footprint. We have, despite this is a very fragmented category, we try to keep our portfolio efficient with healthy SKUs, but also focus innovation, which is driven by a customer-centric asset-light model with a strong connection with our network in Korea, from which I just came from a week trip on innovation. And the other key point, we have a very strong and experienced management team, very experienced for a company of this size. So this will be a great differentiating factor in our success. Next. So market share in 2022, Rojuki's share was 3.8. We grew to 4.1 in 23. And last year, we managed to significantly accelerate to 5.1. We expect to continue this growth trend, which eventually will take us to market leadership. I mentioned on the sales, so you can appreciate from 2022, we were 932 million, then 965, and then in 2024, we have stepped up the growth to 1.1 billion. And we target in the future year, based on our strategic plan, to grow year on year around 20%. So the compounded annual growth will be around 18-20% to take us eventually to 4 billion baht revenue in year 2030. And if you look at the contribution, as I mentioned earlier, skincare is the key driver. In 2024, skincare went from 70% to 89% of the business, with a compounded growth of 27%. Color cosmetic is our second pillar, declined from 13 to 9, with a negative compounded growth. And this is the business that I would like to turn around, because I believe Sis2Sis particularly, it's a brand which has a lot of strength, and we need to refocus on this brand, bringing up innovation, revamp the graphics, and restrain our commercial connection with the key retailers. And the growth also was fueled, I mentioned, by marketing communication. We have an extensive strategy, collaborating with the key opinion leader. And also we have a strong partnership with the Kunum Kanchai, for our anti-gravity range, which has been very successful. We are also focused on elevating our scientific background. So we have engaged with leading dermatologists from Korea and Thailand in events, and we will continue to build this partnership and also investing in sampling. And so the domestic sales grew with a compounded annual growth rate of 33%. As I mentioned, 96% of total sales come from Rojuki's Thailand. And inside that, we can appreciate that the growth has been led by e-commerce, 115%. So e-commerce went from 2% in 2022 to 12% in 2024. And of course, the largest growth driver, though, in absolute is modern trade. Modern trade went from 57 to 77% of sales with a compounded annual growth of 30%. So you can clearly see e-commerce and modern trade, the engine. But you will be surprised if I tell you that in 2025 and on, I believe a general trade that can significantly accelerate the growth because we have plans to really build up distribution in general trade and have a portfolio that is more appropriate for this retail environment. If we look at the points, we have over 40,000 distribution points in Thailand. But then let's talk about international, which is a hot topic in our strategic plan. So today we have distribution points in Southeast Asia, but very selective, and some distributor in China, Myanmar. The strategy going forward is to build a direct distribution model with the Rojuki's people on the ground. So we are creating a first cluster in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. We have just recruited a country manager for the 3 countries based in Vietnam. And next week, I will spend the week in those countries to finalize negotiation with some of the top distributors in the country. So a very different approach from the past. These are the top 5 distributors in the country with a strong business with all leading retailers. So this will allow for a very deep distribution build, a very deep brand penetration. So I expect this country alone will be a significant engine of our growth and a significant engine of our vision to make international 20% of sales. Okay, so there are later on Indonesia. Indonesia is a bit behind because there are halal certification requirement, which delays the planned launch. It will take at least a year, so it will be more for 2026. And the Philippines is another country that is very interesting for our model with Malaysia. Instead, a second pillar will be based on international distribution. We will partner particularly with the distributors in Korea, which have reach across the world, particularly in the United States, Mexico, Middle East, and Russia. And so this will be an additional, more opportunistic way to increase our revenue. Next. Also, we are elevating the quality of our in-store execution. For example, in Watson, we have doubled our shelving for the mass and derma skincare. In Even Boy, we have significantly improved our shelving and display and expanding our assortment in 7-Eleven. These are some of the initiatives. But also, you saw e-commerce reach 12% of the business. And this comes from activation both in marketplace, stepping up our game in TikTok, and live streaming, which has also added the significant incremental revenues. I mentioned about our efficient brand portfolio via focus innovation. So these launches that you see here, these have been the key growth driver in 2024, anti-gravity, Regio PDNR, and active dose, which is a more affordable serum, but also phytoretinol, hydrogel melting mask, and sleeping mask. So the goal is to continue a very high pace of innovation, leveraging our strength, which is we are a Korean brand. We have a Korean network of scientists, of dermatologists, of marketing that allow us to be really first in market with the coolest trends from one of the most advanced skincare country. And so every quarter, you can bet you will see big innovation from Rojukis, which will continue the momentum in both market share and sales. We have a very experienced management team. Together, we have more than 100 years, despite we look very young, of business experience. So this is myself, and then our my C-level with the CFO, CMOs, Chief Commercial Officer, and Chief Supply Chain Officer. You can see is a mix of experience from L'Oreal and Colgate. So all managers very seasoned with a strong multinational background that bring a lot of added value to our organization while keeping the agility that has allow us to be so successful. And then a closing section before opening to question on strategy. This is the 5-year strategic plan, which is the vision is to exceed the 4 billion revenues. And our growth catalysts are to become number one in face care, to elevate the Rojukis brand equity, and to raise our profitability and cash flow profile. Then I mentioned to get international to 20% of business, to elevate our direct-to-consumer, direct-to-professional connection, to enter new face segments and develop new sales channels. And tactically, we need to protect the C2C volume. We need to stop the decline and restore the growth. And to do that, we will have to really step up our innovation, our revenue growth management and design capabilities. We are also want to accelerate our digital and data transformation to enable stronger connection with consumer and profession. And we will become agile. Our motto is stable as an elephant and agile as a cobra to deliver efficiency, resiliency, and speed. And we must raise the talent profile. I show you the management team, but also below, we have a very strong team, and we're going to step up their competencies with more training, more coaching on the ground, and also modernize our work process. The vision, become number one, reach 4 billion baht with the sustainable revenue growth, approximately 20% compounded annual growth. We want to grow gross profit every year, at least half a point. And this half a point to be invested almost exclusively in increased advertising. Because today, I think there's opportunity to spend more in advertising to accelerate the growth, to build international from current 2% to 20% of business. And then to every year, to ensure we keep our net profit growth in a range of 15 to 25%. So these are the 6 elements of the vision. And if I focus on the priority, number one is to make sure we have a smooth transition with the new management team. Myself, I have my own 90-day plans to make sure I understand fully every aspect of the business, and I am perfectly on top of everything, ready to help. Focus, we will focus again on market shares in Thailand, face care, but also we will shift from a multi-brand to a single brand focus, putting all our chips on Rojukis brand. We will champion our initiative on driving pricing and cost efficiency. We will restore Rojukis Korean and scientific heritage, amplifying the innovation impact with bigger execution. We will expand our international footprint thanks to the deep and direct distribution model and accelerate the digital and analytics while elevating some of our business fundamentals. So in the next 6 months, the goal is to complete the transition without any disruption. Everything is going well so far. Finalizing the 5-year strategic plan with financial projection and deploy the category growth drivers that we have identified. We are finalizing the next 24 months a new innovation grid. We are developing a new brand communication guidelines for Rojukis brand. And we are implementing right now the new distribution and in-store execution strategy And we will be ready to launch in the first direct market by July, is my estimate for the first order from Vietnam. In closing, I believe that this brand has a significant growth potential because there is opportunity to increase Rojuk's brand awareness with more advertising. There is opportunity to continue to grow market shares. We have opportunity to improve profitability and cash flow. There are segments that are just waiting for us to enter, and we will do so. We can grow further in e-commerce, but also in direct-to-consumer and in new channels. And I believe this brand has a strong potential to succeed across Southeast Asia in particular. And so we will develop a very aggressive expansion. With this, I think we can open the floor to Q&A. Thank you very much. And you can contact our investor relation and ir@rojukis.com for any question. Thank you. Let's hear for some of the questions. Okay. Good. The questions are in Thai, though, so I cannot. So there is one question is about what is the expectation of Rojukis international sales? I cannot give you a precise number, but if you consider that we will start the first shipment in July, I think it's realistic to expect that this year, from the current 2%, we can already aspire to reach 5%, which will be 4 or 5%, which would be a great achievement given the few months. This is a building level. So, as we set the foundation, we can expect a continuous acceleration already going toward the 10% in next year.
So,
yes.
So the next is about the question related to the dividend payment.
Yes. So to summarize, I cannot give a precise number or make any firm commitment, but our intention is to maintain what we've done in 2024 in terms of frequency ratio. Here we're talking about dividend payout from company level. So the intention is to keep things as usual, but we cannot make any particular precise estimate.
So next question, they asked about the provision that we provide to the general trade. Why we have this big AR provision in this year?
Sure. Well, we believe to be prudent. We had one particular customer in general trade who had issues with the cross-border and issues linked with Myanmar, to be very specific. And so this has created an account receivable problem. And now there is this customer is paying us on time without late payment. So it's more to be conservative. The aged amount will be adjusted by June this year. And the rest was also for aging from small customers. So nothing to worry. It's more we want to be prudent and we don't have any bad debt. There is another question about the update on the plan to grow internationally, which, well, I already mentioned to some extent. As I said, the first step is to build this cluster Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. We have already hired our country manager that will start on May 1st. Next week, I'm meeting 2 key distributors in modern trade. They will be also act as our importer. And I'm going to meet 2 leading e-commerce distributors as well. So I believe at the end of the week, we will have already finalized infrastructure, and then we just need to register the product. I expect the first purchase order to come in July. In the same week, I'm visiting Laos, where we will also meet with the 2 leading distributors for the same point. And the following week, I'm going to Cambodia, where I will do the same. So I expect by the end of March to have all distributors signed up. And then we're going to work on the formalities to start the launch, all in July. So in the future, as I said, the goal, excuse me, is to be 20% at the end of the 5 year. This year, I expect to be around 4 to 5%, and next year to get close to double digit. Do I plan any new product for wellness? Yes, we have plans. I cannot give you all the specific. I don't want to give our competitor a lead start, but of course, the objective is to be market leader, and therefore we must be present in all segments. That's what I meant about it. And there was a question also, what is the company in 5 years? Okay, so the company will be, first of all, a 4 billion baht at least. It will be 20% in international. It will have a Rojo-Kiss brand with a significant higher brand awareness as today. You will see Rojo-Kiss with a bigger shelf in all key retailers, and you will see it more present on air and also in skin clinics, because also with our scientific approach and our partnership with dermatologists, we expect also to build a stronger presence in clinic. There is another question that is about how is the current competition in skincare in Thailand? And there is a specific comment about the scientific, if it's a concern for the company. So I don't want to single out any competitor. I think a smart manager always plans for the worst and hope for the best. So every competitor should be respected, but should not be feared. We should focus more on ourselves. This category is competitive, but in my 30 years of experience, I never heard any category, and I work in over 10 categories, from bar soap to toothpaste to shampoo. I've not heard a single category when people tell me this category is not competitive. They are all competitive because in every category, the entry barriers in FMCG are low. It's very easy to enter. And with word of mouth, with digital, you don't need a big advertising budget like in the past to build awareness. So we should be conscious about competition. We should be external. So we need to look at them and understand what are they doing, but we will pursue on our road. We know what we need to do. We have a clear strategic roadmap in front of us, including innovation, international expansion, commercial expansion in Thailand, and we just focus on that. Okay. There is again another question about how aggressive is Skintific in Thailand and what's key strategy to counter Skintific. Very similar. We don't have a strategy to counter specific competitors. Particularly this one is quite small. So if I had to pick a competitor, I would focus on some of the big ones, but we don't. Again, we focus on Rojo-Kiss. We may learn something from a competition. That's what we do. But then we focus on our strategy. So another question is, excuse me, what are the key strengths of Rojo-Kiss? The competition cannot follow copy. So clearly, the number one strength of Rojo-Kiss is that Rojo-Kiss is a Korean brand, but it's a Korean brand who understands Thai. Most Korean brands don't understand Thai, and so the Korean products normally don't fit Thai needs. Instead, the Rojo-Kiss, given that it's a Thai management, understand the Thai consumers, and so our products are calibrated in terms of formulation, texture, communication to Thai taste. So that's what makes us special, and it's very hard to copy. But also we have a strong network. We produce in Korea. We have, I just visited our factory yesterday. We have 3 large factories actually in Korea, specializing in the various business units. And so that gives us quality, access to quality raw material, access to science. We have our R&D lab where the more advanced formula are developed. We have cooperation with leading dermatologists that I visited in their clinics. And we have access to Korean marketing and design agency that I also visited. So having a network in Korea and having the network in Thailand make Rojukis really unique for this type. And I believe the model can be easily replicated in Vietnam, in Indonesia, in the Philippines. So yeah. So what is the target revenue growth, gross margin, and net margin for 2025? As you may know, we are not allowed to comment on specific numbers as part of the SAT regulation, but this will be in line with our strategic plan, which means a net revenue growth in the range of 15 to 25% to give us this compounded annual growth of 20%. And likewise, a net profit growth in the range of 15 to 25%. By the way, thank you for the questions. Many questions here. We will not have the time to answer them all. So we are selecting some. And I think we should, with our investor relation manager, try to find a way to answer the one we don't have time today. Because one of the points I mentioned is transparency. It's one of our key words. We are planning to be very transparent with you and communicate. So there is a question is that when you talk about opportunities in overseas market, can you elaborate on plan to go? What is the opportunity there and what is the key strength to be successful? Okay, I don't want to repeat myself. So I already explained the plan about entering, starting from the Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. But here, let's focus on what the second part of this question. What is the opportunity and what is the key strength? The opportunity is that I am pretty sure that we will be able to build a strong distribution points in modern trade. In Vietnam, you have clients like Watson, Guardian, Hakasai, Circle K, Pharmacity, all these retailers. We can build the distribution with them easily, and also in e-commerce with all the pure players, Shopee, Lazada. So with that distribution, I have already learning from the past where we had some tactical launch in Vietnam. There was a strong consumer response. So once you establish a very strong distribution infrastructure with a strong experienced salesperson, our country manager has over 25 years of sales experience in Vietnam, then we can list in all these customers, but also leverage from the brand strong word of mouth. Vietnamese and any Southeast Asian consumer look up to Thailand and look up to Korea. So we are both. And I think this will allow us over time to grow significantly and replicate the growth of Rojukis. And the key strength to be successful is really to partner with the right distributors and to launch the tight portfolio. Don't go crazy with too many SKUs, and then invest in a gradual growth instead of be too impatient. And I'm sure we will be successful. I've done this in many countries in my past experience before Rojukis, so I know how to do it. Okay, we have 6 minutes left. Let's see some of the questions. And I apologize because please forgive my Thai. I lived in Thailand 9 years. Still, I can barely communicate. So the questions are in Thai. My team is translating. Okay, and do you have a plan to work closely with KOL, both domestic and international? Yes, we do. We have a clear strategy where, depending on the brand segment, we either focus on mass advertising or key opinion leaders or partnership. So we have focus on some high-profile partner like Unknown, but also we have many influencers. They are mostly Thai because the language is important. If you have a Korean KOL, then the issue is more the communication, the language, right? So, but the plans are that, and I'm looking at the opportunity to make the brand more Korean, to also leverage more the Korean influence. Why Cis2Cis is losing market share? So it's simple. It's our fault. We have stopped focusing on Cis2Cis. we have been focusing on launching new brands. Now this will stop, but we'll go back to cis-to-cis, and I am confident that we're gonna rework on the graphics. Will be a huge graphic relaunch this year, and the products of cis-to-cis are there are opportunities to make it more competitive with some addition, some more technological innovation. Cis-to-cis was one of the first with its applicator, particularly was a patented innovation. And so I think both in terms of packaging and also in terms of benefits, we have opportunities to bring relevant innovation to the market, which will help cis-to-cis to come back. What is the difference in terms of strategy for going overseas compared to what KISS has done previously? So in the past, the KISS approach to international was more opportunistic, KISS was working directly with the retailers overseas. So it means only one supermarket chain or one marketplace distributor. And so you have no control on the business. You're just giving your product to a local player and let it run with it. And these players are very small, so that means that it's not very sustainable. We are gonna put our Rojuki's employee on the ground, first of all. And as I said, we will partner with big distributor, like top 5, guaranteed, probably top 1 or top 2. And so with these big guys, it's possible to list in all key retailers. And then, we'll have investment in advertising to build the demand. And so this is what is really the big difference. The plan on China. So China will be part of the international distributor model, which is more of partnering with the right distributors, either based in Thailand or in China. But in this case, I'll let them run with it. This will be more opportunistic because China is a very competitive market. And Rojukis is not the obvious market for Rojukis. So therefore, I am unwilling at this stage to invest resources like I'm doing for Southeast Asia. For now, I'll let it run because it's such a big market that if we partner with good international wholesalers, we can still get significant incremental revenues. Do you have plan to have NPD perfume in the port? What does it mean? In the port?
With the Rojukis port.
Portfolio. Okay. So, never say never, but at this stage, I don't think this is a big opportunity for us because we are more cosmetic, therapeutic. Perfume, it's more toward the end of the spectrum. So first, we need to build a stronger brand to be able to expand in more far-fetched segments. So not in the near future, I can say. How many new products? As I said, you can count every quarter there will be a Rojukis launch, and it's not one SKU. When we make a launch, normally we launch a product line. I cannot give you the number of SKUs. I don't want to be too specific, but every quarter is the plan. We have a full grid already finalized. I've approved the grid until December. We are actually discussing 2027, 2026 grid right now. Okay, there are some questions about Q1, expected level of gross profit margin and selling expense. So I cannot give you, again, precise numbers because I'm not allowed to do so. I can just say that, yes, there is a transition. So there are things getting in movement, but we don't expect any big difference in Q1 versus the past. That's what all I can say. There is a seasonality. You see, Q1 is always the lowest quarter in terms of absolute values. But in percentage, I don't expect particular. So the growth target for this year, it's one of the questions. It's again, we expect to grow an average of 20% year on year, a range between 15 and 25%. And this is what we plan for 2025. There is a question about how we're going to achieve an increase of 50 basis point incremental gross profit margin. What is the plan? So the plan is twofold. One is to look at our average price per piece and implement a revenue growth management, which means relook at our product mix, relook at our size mix, leverage innovation to drive the price per pack, and relook at the promotional effectiveness and things like that. On the other is about cost savings. I think we're about to be cut off. It's cost saving initiatives to identify how to make our supply chain more effective and relook at every aspect of our business to identify the cost savings opportunities. I think the time is up.
Just allow me to be closing. First of all, thank you for all to attend Logica's Opportunity Day today, and we hope to see you guys on the next quarter. เนื่องจากว่าเราได้รับคำถามที่ค่อนข้างเยอะนะคะแล้วก็สำหรับคำถามไหนที่ยังไม่ได้ถูกตอบในเซสชันนี้ค่ะก็จะรบกวนนักลงทุนทุกท่านนะคะส่งอีเมลมาที่ ir@cyberlogistics.com นะคะ So we'll try my best to answer and cover all the answers today, and thank you for all today. ขอบคุณทุกคนค่ะ
Thank you, and I look forward to partner with you in this very exciting journey ahead. Thank you very much for your time.